My God, do I love a bit of Lucha Libre. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I'm Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about AEW. We are talking about the debut of Hologram, the teased character who made their debut last night at AEW Collision, taking on Gringo Loco in a really fun, entertaining match, and what the future holds for him moving forward. But before we dive into that, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below, and I'll try and apply to every single one of them as we dive into this. So yes, it had been teased on Collision that there was going to be a new debut. We had these cryptic sort of people jumping through portals, vignettes, teasing the debut of Hologram, a Lucha Libre wrestler, former CMLL, I can never say that, CMLL and AAA wrestler Aramis. Now there was speculation that this was going to be Ricochet, that this was going to be Sammy Guevara, but it does appear that in this debut match it is Aramis, who's been signed with the company for a long old time. He won his debut match. Incredible feats of athleticism. I've never seen anything like it. The initial jump onto the shoulders spot, really cool way to open the match. Insane vertical leap, insane sort of springboard rolling shoulder fireman's carry thing. I don't even know how to describe it, but it was off the chain level of good. A really impressive and solid debut for Hologram in AEW. But this leaves the question is what happens with Hologram going forward, because AEW, for want of a better phrase, is full of people. It's full of bodies, it's full of wrestlers, and it can be quite easy to be lost in the shuffle. So how would you book Hologram going forward? How would you have him remain relevant in a sea of people like your Okadas, Ospreys, potentially Ricochet coming in, potentially even like Motor City Machine Guns? We don't know what's happening with them. All this influx of new talent, it could be possible for Hologram to be lost in the shuffle. But how I think he should be booked going forward is I think there's a really easy two-step solution. And this is sort of my fantasy booking of how I would book Hologram sort of to All Out. Because we have All In first. So All In, I would do a big sort of high-flying scramble match. You have in Sammy Guevara, Rey Fenix, Penta, Hologram, and the debuting Ricochet. You have this insane scramble match where it's just insane spot after insane spot. You've got numerous people returning. Well, you've got Hologram debuting on a pay-per-view, you've got Ricochet debuting, and you've got Sammy Guevara returning. So that sort of throws up in the air sort of who's going to win, because you don't know. And I would have Hologram pick up that win at Wembley Stadium. He is going to be very important moving forward. If you've put a lot of thought, if this has been built up for a year, you clearly have a lot of stock in this guy, so you want him to get a big win. And I would have him win that scramble at All In after an insane 15-minute sprint showcasing Lucha Libre and high-flying talent in AEW, because that is something that they near enough unmatched at. And I think that would be an incredible way to maybe even kick off All In. Following this big win, I would have him build a feud with the debuting Ricochet. And then you would have, I nearly said Aramis, you would have Hologram versus Ricochet as an all-out match and an all-out program in which Ricochet picks up the win, because you don't want to dive straight into the Ricochet Osprey stuff. I think that can be teased further down the line. That could potentially be a world title program when Osprey has the belt. It could be that good. So I think to sort of just elongate this feud out and show maybe different sides to Ricochet, and maybe give Hologram a bit of time on the mic, or he has a manager who speaks for him, however they want to proceed with that, and really sort of build up their characters that way, and then have an insane showcase at All Out, which Ricochet picks up the win. Both guys have a win, one in the scramble and one in a one-on-one match. That can lead to a rubber match, which Hologram picks up the win. Maybe do that on like a special Dynamite or something like that and blow off that feud, because I think Hologram debuting first, he's the one you want to put all that stock in, all that push behind. Now, one thing I'm not sure about with sort of Mexican talent and Lucha Libre talent is I feel like they can get put into a box, and that box is you are going to feud with Lucha people. That has very much happened in WWE, and I'm not really a fan of it. And it can be sort of said to an extent in AEW, but AEW's roster is so vast that people face everyone. So you don't just get Rey Fenix versus like Gravity or something like that. You get a fair few fresh matchups. So I don't want to get Hologram stuck in that box. Following All Out, I would potentially have him feud with Mox. I think Mox could really put him over, and you could do a really fun gimmick for Mox where he's like the Lucha Killer. Just have him beat up all these CMLL guys like they were doing on the Road to Forbidden Door, leading to a match with Hologram at Full Gear, and that is a Full Gear program. You can maybe add a stip to it, and Mox puts over Hologram. Beautiful. Because the thing with this is, AEW is so vast, there are so many people, you don't need Hologram to have a title yet. You don't. You simply don't. You don't need him to take the international title off MJF. You don't need the continental title from Okada. You don't need the TNT title off Jack Perry. Like, he can stay away from all of that. And potentially even stick him in the Continental Classic, because that would just give banger after banger after banger after banger. Maybe he gets to the final. Maybe that's your final of the Continental Classic is Jon Moxley versus Hologram. I think that has a really good ring to it, a really interesting clash of styles, and that is something I'd be totally down for. I think there's just so many options for Hologram. I don't want to see him get put into a box. That is my main fear with the debut, that he is a shiny new toy of Tony Khan's, and Tony Khan isn't going to put too much thought into booking him. He's just going to have him do really, really fun matches, and then eventually he'll get a Ring of Honor title shot on like Supercard of Honor or something like that. I think there's value in many of the Lucha stars, but Hologram in particular, moving forward, I really, really do. And I hope that he is booked that way. So sort of to sum up how I think, to sum up the video title, what is next for Hologram, I will say, I think All-Star Scramble at All In, Hologram Ricochet at All Out, Jon Moxley Hologram at Full Gear. And then, I'm dreading saying this, World's End, because he is on the thumbnail, Hologram versus Chris Jericho, in which Chris Jericho puts Hologram over and the feud ends. That is how I would book Hologram for the rest of the year. I think there's mileage in that, and from there, you can just spring him into title feuds all you would like. I think there's so much upside to him. It was an incredible debut match, and I think those matches are banging. So that is how I would book Hologram for the rest of 2024. Let me know what you think should happen with Hologram moving forward. Are you a fan? Are you not? Let me know, and I'll try to apply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.